Novigo is a digital native tech agile company focusing on agentic AI and data engineering solutions.
First 4 years of our operations, all of us lived in Mangaluru and drove the business in the Middle East.
Their growth rate of last 10 years is CAGR 35%.
Now with the recent technology development, every year we'll have to change based on the market demand.
Fund alone with Novigo brand to go to the larger size projects, larger clients may be still difficult.
From Novigo to reach from say 900 to 3000 people, there are certain external triggers that are required.
They were always talking about Mangaluru city, that native Mangaluru, that is attached to Novigo so much.
I think next 5 years we can survive with the agentic AI.
Building a business the world wants to acquire.
Yeah, to start with one of our audience question, how did you enter into UAE market? We have similar kind of a question that how did you enter into Europe market? All this. I believe there may be some connect.
Sure.
Yeah.
So we were very clear from the beginning that we want to be successful both in the US and Middle East market, at least when we started, right? There is a reason for that because we didn't have the kind of sales and marketing spend that we should do to expand in US. So it was an organic growth that we were looking at US. So it was steadily happening. While that happened, Middle East was much more accessible for us. We could literally be in the Middle East market whenever the need was there. I think at least first 4 years of our operations, all of us lived in Mangaluru and drove the business in the Middle East. And most of the clients believed that, we live in Middle East, because if there is a meeting, next day we would take the flight, day before and be there. So that way it was much more easier for us to, land in Middle East and expand. And also a large part of what we do is, our OEM strategy with our key partners. So Middle East kind of became our, trial ground where we could partner with UiPath, where we could partner with OutSystems, we could partner with Snowflake. For example, now Snowflake, one of the largest Snowflake migration projects in the Middle East for Neom City is won by Novigo, and we had competition from say Accenture, all the big companies, right? We may not be able to do the same thing in the US when we start with Snowflake. So Middle East kind of became our, playground. We would learn our skills, learn how to, partner with the big OEMs and form a strategy and then replicate that in the US. And slowly we found that in the market like Europe, the biggies, from the Indian IT ecosystem, they have won projects in the range of like say $1 to $5 million, which is not growing for them. But for a company of our side, it becomes, much more lucrative. So we have landed there and now we are competing with the, biggies in that space. So that way Europe also becomes exciting. Each market is very different. US is a very value-driven market. It's easy to scale from $1 million to $5 million in US. Middle East, it takes some more time and, it's the ticket size is relatively smaller, but it's also a market where you can learn your skills, adopt new technologies. Europe is, a little bit different, but as far as the strategy is concerned, we were very clear that we want to be successful in both these markets, and I am happy to say that we are the only, probably, only mid-sized company of our size to be successful both in the US and Middle East. There are not many companies who have done that.
Yeah, just to add on, I think the Middle East story was little easy to that extent. But US is not easy, definitely. I think to be very honest, see, US is a vast market. There are millions of players and all kinds of players, right? From Accenture, PwC and that kind of a layer to Infosys, TCS, Wipro and Tech Mahindra, next level. So we are somewhere in the bottom, right? So what we need to do is, we need to identify our sweet spot, right? Obviously, to begin with, we didn't start, I'm sure some of you would know, like people like Ashok Soota would have started a company with 50 crore investment. Somebody who started with, Reliance Group may start with 200 crore investment, where they will go with the brand and with enough people on the ground doing sales and marketing. We didn't have funding, number one. It was completely bootstrapped. Second, we didn't have that kind of a brand. So what is our play, right? One, of course, the technology. And the second, our personal connects. Thanks to our previous corporate life, where we were able to have a decent connect globally, both in Middle East and in US, so we were able to connect with them. But there also who? Of course, we would know people of, say, COO of, say, Walmart, but they will not give a damn to Novigo, right? So who are our sweet spot? We have to look at two things. One, there are a few projects in the range of whatever, he talked about, what we could achieve. When we started, it was 500K to 1 million. Maybe now, we are going up to 1 million to 10 million kind of a dollar kind of a thing where we are able to give proposal. When you reach out, we need to figure out where are those projects, right? So typically, the companies in US between say 1 billion to 10 billion dollar company, right? For them, since I came from Infosys, I'm telling you, of course, don't quote me outside here. I know those companies don't give much of a importance to these companies. For them, their target is all the big companies with $200 billion plus revenue, where their IT budget is 10 billion plus, and they were targeting 200 million from each of the accounts. Whereas we are targeting the smaller ones. So in those kind of accounts or clients where it's say revenue is 1 billion to say 10 billion, where their IT budget may be 100 million, then 100 million if it is a total IT budget, and then addressable for Indian IT industry say 10 million, companies like TCS, Infosys may not even get in, or even if they get in, they will not give importance. So we thought that is a sweet spot. But we need to have some connects to reach out. So our connects, that sweet spot, and the technology play in terms of being in RPA, low code, whatever. This combination worked for us to get in there and then expand. So even today we are doing, but the scope of the thing we are slowly expanding. We started with small 200K to 500K project, and now we are going little big, and now we are targeting further big. So that's where we are now with whatever count we have. Now we are targeting anywhere between $1 million to $10 million kind of a projects where people will at least receive our proposal. I have written a proposal of $120 million in Infosys, of course not me alone, but as a team. But from Novigo, it is not practical, right? Nobody will give importance to us. So we need to identify our sweet spot and then go behind. Second point is on the technology play, right? Even the technology play, what we realized, US was much advanced, even from 10 years back, whereas Middle East was little behind. So we were able to get in there very fast, quickly, and the OEM partnership really worked where we were able to have a strong partnership. Then steadily get into the US market. So that also kind of helped. Of course, now, as we speak, in the last 3-4 years, even Middle East has picked up very well. Now they also talk about agentic AI, they are not behind US. So of course, since we already had some kind of a, brand in the Middle East, we are able to leverage, and then people are listening to us in the Middle East.
Great, sir. Being a real estate, only numbers goes to our mind easily. So one of a number I found in their discussion was their growth rate of last 10 years is CAGR 35%. This is the number hit my heart so much. I would like to understand that how did you make that in last 1 decade continuously? Building that is a very difficult challenge, I believe. I need to understand.
Yeah, as I said in the beginning, right, we were really very ambitious. We wanted to have those numbers in place. One thing that we as a group decided very early on is to have discipline in terms of how our numbers should be. And thanks to Praveen, we had a very democratic setup in the group for people who are, founders of the company in a group. It's always important to have different opinions. If all of you think alike, discuss the same thing, then your mind don't expand into situations which might arise as an exception, right? So that way, thanks to Praveen, we had a very democratic setup. We 4 individuals are very different. We bring in different strengths into the group, but at the same time, we have strong opinions. We discuss and debate a lot. Our board meetings are, very, it extends, beyond what we plan. But at the same time, once we are out of it, we are all very good friends, But for the company, I might have a decision that is different from what Praveen believes in, but once we decide as a group, we'll go with what we decide on. So that is very important. So that way, very early into the Novigo, story, we believed that we need to have good top line growth, good bottom line growth. We always maintain that, we will not go for external borrowings. From our day one, we have not even taken $1 of external borrowing. So that is a conscious decision that we made. So in terms of financial discipline, that was there from year one. And we had broken even within 6 months. So that way, that also helps.
Of course, we had our own ups and downs. Not that it was all through. We had 70% growth, or even during COVID, we almost kind of doubled, but we had even 20% growth in few years based on the market thing. But one other element is, as long as you're ambitious and then you just focus on growth, I think it will work, right? And you keep your ears and eyes in the market and keep focusing on that. And to be very honest, whatever we talked about, the EBITDA or any of the other numbers, we started looking at only maybe last 4 years back. But before that, we just looked at growth. And sometimes what happens is, people look at growth, but don't look at the bottom line. Of course, we didn't look at that bottom line seriously, but then ನಮ್ಮ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಸಿಗಿದ್ದಷ್ಟು ಕಾಲು ಚಾಚು, right? So we were very particular on spend. We were very conservative, right? So to that conservative nature, maybe we would have grown much faster if at all we were not conservative, if we had taken loan or whatever. But for some reason, we as a team decided to grow steadily, conservatively. But only in the last 3-4 years, we started analyzing our, other parameters of the financial, where we started understanding those. And now we are, cautious. Also, now in the last 3-4 years, we started taking targets. We started distributing targets to our salespeople, and then we work towards it, and we value, we review, and we see next year what target to set based on what market condition is, what we can achieve, what additional technology that we need to get in. All that started happening formally in the last 4-5 years. So before that, it was all ad hoc, but with the one vision of growth for Novigo as well as for its employees.
Amazing. I would like to ask Shihab Kalandar that how much amount of budget you keep aside for R&D or for partnership or like university collaboration. What is that numbers we can expect from Novigo?
Yeah, it's a combination. Roughly, I would say about 10 to 15% of our annual budget goes on R&D, or internship, or a freshers L&D training, even lateral cross training. We do a lot of lateral cross training because sales, for example, would give Salesforce is one of our strength, and getting a Salesforce guys in Mangaluru. Probably what we have found a way that we had few laterals who have joined. We have had Java guys, Java background guys, and we have cross-trained into Salesforce, which really worked. So similarly, now with the recent technology development, every year we will have to change as well based on the market demand. So for this, yearly we keep about 10 to 15% of our overall budget as the L&D as well as this one. It varies. The last year the budget was about 12%, the L&D, R&D, and as well as freshers training.
Great. Now, I would like to ask Mohammed, Hanif, many are asking me also, and you also have that question, I believe. What is that road ahead for Novigo? Definitely, I believe this is just a beginning. We have a long way to go. And we have certain question, especially from Ajit Kamath, that when we get opportunity to invest in Novigo as IPO or in any opportunity.
Sure. Praveen can add to this. This is a much debated subject now. See, we all believe that best of Novigo is ahead of us. That is something that we are very clear about, and we'll continue to, innovate. One thing that is really helping us is because of the technology shift that is happening in the market. It kind of creates a very level playing field for companies like us, right? We can now compete with the biggies in this space that are newly emerging. For example, now Saudi Aramco, we are the preferred partner with Microsoft to do agentic AI. 2 years back, Microsoft would not have taken us seriously in any space to compete for a client like Aramco. That is happening because there is disruption happening in the market. There is a flat playing field. So as long as you innovate and you innovate quickly, you can land there and do some disruptive things. While this happens, we also realize from Novigo to reach from say 900 to 3,000 people, there are certain external triggers that are required. So there are few options that we are considering internally. One could be strategic M&A, but there also we are very clear. None of the founders want to exit in the sense that it's not an exit that we are looking at. We want to partner with a company where the interest of Novigo employees is taken care of, the interest of Mangaluru is taken care of. All four of us are very passionate about growing Mangaluru. We always maintain that 50% of our workforce will be in Mangaluru. So if we are partnering with a strategic, company, then we want Mangaluru to grow. That is something that is, at the core of everything that we do. While we do this, Praveen spoke about we now bidding for projects in the size of $1 to $10 million, right? Now, maybe in 2 years, we might be able to bid for projects in the range of $20 to $30 million. Strategic initiatives work that way. And also, to a large extent, companies find it very hard, at least in the size of, say, 10,000 to 50,000 people, to pivot into new things. For us, it was a matter of survival. We had to survive by changing quickly, every 2-3 years, pivot into something new. So that is embedded within the DNA of Novigo. So for us to be something different is very easy. It comes naturally to us. If some new technology is coming in the market in, say, another 6 months, all our 900 people have to be shifted to that. It's in the DNA of the company. So that way, we become a very enticing partner for companies who are struggling to pivot. So if we are being the propeller of an old ship, we don't mind being that as long as, Novigo's interest and interest of the employees are taken care of. At the same time, if we are, say, organically reaching 2,000 people over the next 3 years, if through strategic partnership, if we are reaching 3,000 in next 3 years, why not, So we are considering few options. Still, it is RT month, so, hopefully on the other side, we'll have something
Amazing.
to say.
Yeah.
Just to add on, it's typical again, I spoke about growth for the company, right? So far we have grown organically. Of course, we did acquire small companies here in Mangalore and Bangalore, but we can always go with the flow, right? But one thing that we have been consistent doing, when market is growing at 20%, we have grown at 25%. When market is growing at 5%, we have grown at 8%. So that will, I think we are fairly sure on that, touch wood. But given our strong foundation for the last 10 years, as you said, DNA is to learn new technology, be on the technology, keep your ears on the market, all of them. But then I think given our ambition as well as the ambition of our people, I think there is a scope to really accelerate further. I'm talking about moving from organic to inorganic growth. There are different ways. Either you take the fund, and there are a lot of people to give fund, but then fund alone with Novigo brand to go to the larger size projects, larger clients, may be still difficult. That's why that strategic partnership would help. Even IPO, again, we'll get the money, but then I don't think, at least, of course, I'm not an expert on the IPO side, but I don't know whether getting money would help us to grow to that extent. So to that extent, that partnership is what is the right direction, is what we thought internally. Of course, the discussions are going on, and we are also very particular on that, where it has to help Novigo to scale up. It has to help the Novigo leadership to really, take the company to the next level. That's the direction we are looking at.
So we all know that Novigo solution is so much grounded, and the passionate founders, Praveen Khalbavi and Mohammed, Hanif, and even Shihab has that. They were always talking about Mangaluru city, that native Mangaluru, that is attached to Novigo so much. We have to applaud, a great one round of applause for that. Now we'll switch a gear to next level. This will be like a rapid answer, whatever comes to your mind in a word or a line. I will start from Praveen Khalbavi. We have 4 questions each. Like, what is that one habit you swear by for your success?
I think hard work.
Yeah, that we can see from you. And what advice would you give your 21-year-old yourself?
This to me only.
Yes.
Okay. I think work hard.
One trend you believe will redefine the IT industry in coming 5 years?
Others are more technology, but I would say, at least for now, based on whatever I hear from the clients as well as partners globally, I think next 5 years we can survive with the agentic AI.
Okay. Build fast or build for last?
Okay, I think it depends upon the concept, I would say, because if at all it's a new idea or a product or something of that sort, I think you have to build fast, because otherwise somebody else will do it before you. Yes. Maybe companies like us on the services side, maybe you have to build for last.
Okay. So to Hanif, I would ask, AI, will it save us or it will replace us?
It will make us better.
Okay, for a better tomorrow. What does Mangaluru have that which other metro city doesn't have?
Talent. In fact, this is very interesting. I will just expand on what I said. In all our communication with our end clients, with our partners, potential companies looking at strategic acquisition, we have sold Mangaluru like anything over the last 3 months, right? Because we genuinely believe in Mangaluru story, and we feel that this story should be told to audience outside Mangaluru as well, globally, right? Just yesterday we were having a meeting in Bangalore where a company similar to NCR is potentially looking at expanding to tier 2, and we did that Mangalore pitch, and they are like, wow, this can, and we have 12 to 15%, operating margin leverage on our books operating in Mangalore compared to our other locations. This is something like gold, right? For companies at a larger scale, if they operate in Mangalore, they can leverage on that. So that way, Mangalore talent is something that, other cities cannot, at least at similar
Yesterday,
size.
in 90 minutes meeting, we spent about mostly 30 minutes only on Mangalore.
Okay.
Yeah. Describe your leadership style by choosing a global leader. Satya Nadella, Indra Nooyi, Elon Musk.
Praveen Khalbavi.
Amazing. That we should put Praveen Khalbavi as a global leader stature. This is for Shihab Kalandar. If not in tech, what would you be doing parallel universe?
Tough question. Probably because, I mean, I'm belonging to a community. I was about to say, because
Yeah.
mostly I would have become a trader.
Okay. Not real estate. Okay. The last decision you made purely out of your gut, not logic.
Moving to UAE,
Okay.
because closer to the client location.
Okay, okay. Work from home, office, or hybrid? What wins for you?
I'm a firm believer of work from office.
Okay.
I hope none of our employees are here. They would hate me.
Yeah. I know this answer definitely would select work-life balance or hustle culture.
Hustle culture.
Okay. So all of you are like that work hard is there in blood. There is no doubt in that. Definitely. This was amazing session.